How I managed to understand native speakers better. For a long time, I could read and write English well, but when I started working for international companies like British Telecom, I struggled to understand native speakers, especially because of their different accents. From Irish to Scottish to London accents, it was a real challenge to catch every word they said. It was no different when I moved to an American telecom company. The culture and accent were completely different. For example, New Yorkers tend to speak very fast, which made them especially challenging to understand. But after a few months, I started to understand native speakers much better. What helped wasn't more grammar. It was a few key components that changed how I listened, and the first one is exposure. The biggest improvement came from exposure. I didn't just study English, I listened to it every day. This could be as simple as watching movies, TED Talks, or documentaries in English. At first, it sounded like noise, but over time, my ears learned the rhythm and flow of real English. We all have different interests, so to make learning enjoyable, expose yourself to native conversations based on what you like. If you love sports, for example, watch sports-related content in English. Challenge yourself by turning off subtitles. This forces your brain to work harder to understand the content. If that feels too difficult at first, it's okay to use subtitles, but try turning them off gradually as you improve. Understanding their culture. Then I realized something important. Understanding native speakers isn't just about language, it's about culture. Jokes, tone, sarcasm, and even silence can mean very different things depending on culture. When we work for international companies, there's usually an onboarding process that includes cultural background training. This is extremely helpful. It helps us understand what native speakers value, and you can often hear this reflected in how they talk and interact. Once you understand how native speakers think and communicate, their English started to make much more sense. Familiarizing with native expressions. Finally, I stopped translating word by word. Native speakers don't speak in perfect sentences. They speak in expressions. Phrases like, you know, kind of, I mean, don't add meaning, but they add flow. When I worked for a British company, one expression I heard almost every day was cheers, especially at the end of the calls. And when they weren't happy, you'd hear them saying, this is very appalling customer service. On the other hand, when talking to Americans, I often heard expressions like, hang on a second, my bad, that works. Once I learned to recognize these expressions, listening became much easier. Understanding native speakers is a process, not a talent. With the right exposure, cultural awareness, and familiarity with real expressions, you can get there too. How about you? What helped you understand native speakers better? Or what are you doing at the moment to understand them better? I'd love to hear your experiences. Share them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on leveling up your English one boost a day.